He is a master of not only writing very funny comics, but also does an amazing job of writing very sad, sad boys in the world of superheroes. Welcome to the program, Mr. Chip Zdarsky.
Right, what you know.
Chip, are you
Uh,
very sad?
Constantly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The world, my life, it all adds up.
Fair
Well,
enough, fair enough. But you got so much to live for. You're out there on the West Coast coaching volleyball now. Like
It's true. It's true. It's
it's a
all I
good
got,
time.
though.
That's all you got, eh?
Yeah.
Well, no wonder you do such a great job of writing Captain America the way he is, a man truly out of time who, you took a big gamble last year, which of course had to be cleared by Marvel and everything like that because it was very important. Is that you were like, let's go back and talk about Cap coming out of the ice and let's modernize it. Let's bring it up with the sliding time scale, put him in a post 9/11 era, and introduce him to another Captain America, David Colton.
Hmm.
With David Colton, it was interesting. Like it kind of reminded me of like back when Greg Rucka wrote The Punisher and he had the Lady Punisher, and it was kind of that was all a story to show that like only Frank Castle can be the Punisher. Like he like that. There's a certain kind of makeup for it. With this, I feel like David Colton is kind of proof that you have to be a man out of time who went into the ice with all these values and didn't go through the same kind of pain and transformation that, say, a soldier like David Colton did, to still have kind of the naivete to be that, you know, hopeful about the world as Steve Rogers is.
Yeah, I mean, World War II was a very specific kind of conflict, right?
Yeah.
Like clearly laid out good versus evil. Um, and that formed Steve Rogers' character. The years leading up to the war itself. So I think that stuck with him. Whereas David Colton went into obviously a bit more of a quagmire, more of a nebulous kind of situation, kind of post September 11th, Afghanistan, then Iraq. Um, and that changes you. I mean, both wars involve trauma. I think a lot of soldiers came home from World War II, changed people, not necessarily for the better. Um, but there's something about the Middle Eastern conflicts uh, that really change someone when they come back, because it's such a different landscape than what they're used to, and a real conflict of uh, cultures. And so, I mean, America has a history, obviously, of going into places that they maybe don't fully understand and trying to bend them towards their way, and it almost never works. And David Colton's kind of the result of that.
yeah. When you mentioned that, it's interesting because that was one of the things I picked up on the early part of the story was Cap talking about going into a place that isn't a place that he's from. He doesn't know what's going on, and so he just wants to listen and take in what the locals are thinking and saying and doing,
Yeah.
and see what they have to say before acting.
Hmm.
In a way that might might make things worse. And I was reading that and taking that in. I was just like, yeah, that is a very accurate truism that I think everybody should take note of in the world these days.
Yeah, and like Steve Rogers in that second arc, like um, he wants to see what the people are thinking, with how the people are feeling, because a lot of these decisions happen at a higher level and kind of lose touch with the humanity of the people kind of involved. Um, yeah, and it's still the case today, kind of top level decisions, but it's the people that are being affected, so they should have a voice, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And Latveria, a place that over the past year or so been pretty big once again in the Marvel universe, of
Hmm.
course, with Ryan North's
Yeah.
One
Another
Nation Under
goddamn
Doom.
Canadian
Yeah, yeah, you got
trouncing all over Latveria.
yeah, and now of course, with everything the Caps had to go through, and now, facing off against the Red Hulk,
Yeah.
and the Red Hulk is kind of set up shop there now in Latveria, and that's the setup for Avengers Armageddon,
Hmm.
where Captain America in hell? Is that where he is? Can you,
maybe.
maybe? Okay. Okay. It seems like he might be in hell there.
Yeah, not a commentary on America. I just want
No,
to be
no.
very clear.
But yeah, you have so we have upcoming like he's going to be dealing with Doctor Doom in a whole different way this time now. As
Yeah.
you know, at the beginning of your run, he was dealing him as an adversary, but now are we going to see like an unlikely alliance between the two?
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of the plan. Um, Without giving too much away. Um, it's been fun kind of doing these three arcs and Steve's relationship to Doom and Latveria at these different stages. Um, and also his relationship to rebellions and democracy and what works where. Uh, and hell is a very different kind of place. And yet Steve is going to be drawn into uh, the fight once again, and how him and Doom deal with it is it'll be interesting. I mean, I've written it all, so I know it's gonna be interesting. It's
Ooh,
interesting for me to write. I shouldn't profess to know what the reader thinks. Um, but yeah, no, it's been a ton of fun. It's been a ton of fun. I love writing Doom and I love writing Cap, and kind of having those characters face off against each other just felt like such a natural.
yeah, totally. Well,
Yeah.
those two guys, they're two characters that have strong core ideals, I feel.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
find, yeah, like I can see you do really well. Like, as a fan, I've always enjoyed it when you have a character that has a strong conviction about something, like a very set character. Like, it's another reason why I thought your Daredevil one was great because Matt Murdock, another guy who has very well defined kind of like convictions about things. And yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to see what happens between this whole Cap and Doom dynamic.
It's yeah, like I said, it's fun to write. I hope it's fun to read. Um, yeah, it seemed like such a natural kind of pairing that hasn't been explored that much really in the
Mm.
comics. But like my initial thought was just like, oh yeah, if Steve came out of the ice and he looked around the world, like who's the next Hitler? Like maybe it's the guy, that is a dictator in a European country that keeps constantly invading America and like torturing the Fantastic Four and having all these schemes. Like seems like a guy you'd want to go after.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it just made a whole lot of sense to me, and I'm glad it's worked out.
Working on iconic characters like this, and then you have to weave in all of the aspects of it, like with your storytelling and then whatever else is going on in the Marvel universe, like at
Yeah.
least trying to keep it at least adjacent enough that it
Mm.
doesn't break anything. How far out are you able to actually plan your stories, like your portion of the stories, and then get input from Marvel editors and whatnot about the things that they don't want you to delve too far away or too far into?
Yeah, I mean, it is a tricky thing because especially the past few years, I tend to work very far ahead.
Right.
Um, like I'm just working on issue 19 of Cap today. Like I'm ahead, and I've got like plans for the next several years of the books that I'm working on. So um, it can get a little tricky. Sometimes Marvel's like, okay, you've actually gone too far in terms of the timeline. Like we don't know how everything is going to be down the
Right.
road. And sometimes that causes problems. Like maybe I'll write a scene with Wolverine, and then it'll be drawn, and then we'll find out that his claws are snapped off.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, like these things can happen, and I had it happen before. Um, just in my kind of day-to-day writing when I was previously at Marvel. But now I feel like because I'm not in a leadership position, but I'm definitely working on things that kind of help define what Marvel should look like in the next year or so. So that makes it a little bit easier. The problem with that is uh, I'm not just getting approval from my editor for my outlines, I'm getting approval from the editors of all the different offices at Marvel because what I do now affects other characters, and I got to make sure that they're on board with it, or there's enough for them to play with, or there's nothing that they're thinking of doing that conflicts with what I've got planned. So, there are more meetings when you kind of hit this kind of position that I'm in. But again, I'm lucky that I work so far ahead that somehow it's easier to convince them to do a thing 2 years from now than it is to convince them to do a thing 2 months from now, right? Because they're just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like anything. It's like, oh yeah, no, I've got a whole bunch of stuff to do next year. That's fine. I'll put it off. But if and then the day comes, you're like, oh my God, why did I agree to that? It's that way with other editorial offices a little bit because they're just like, well, I don't know, I don't have plans for this character really 2 years, so that sounds good, and then you know they might eat those words when the 2 years comes up and they're like, oh shit, shouldn't kill Daredevil. Fuck.
Have you encountered anything that made you rethink your path, your plan, where you're like either or, right? Like where you go, oh, that's okay. I didn't know you guys were going to say do that at this point when I first wrote this, but or just organically happened, or vice versa, where you kind of go, oh, maybe I should change this because I wasn't aware that this was going to happen or whatever. And now it's like this would actually be an interesting wrinkle in what I'm planning in the next several months.
Yeah, I mean, like finding out what Ryan was doing with Doom um helped me with my Cap story because I kind of had the inkling of the Cap stuff set in the past, but I didn't really have a firm grasp on what I wanted to do when I got to the present. And Ryan is also a guy who works far ahead. I don't know, it's a Canadian work ethic, but like talking to him and finding out, where he was leaving Doom at the end of One World Under Doom and Ladbarium, I was like, oh, I could play with that. And same with like Ben Percy and Red Hulk. I'm just like, oh, I could play with that. Um, like there's definitely because I don't want to make it sound like, I present my ideas to the editors and I got to get it by them because sometimes the editors come back and they've got good ideas. Like they're like, oh,
Right.
what if you did this? Or what if you use this character? And be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So there've definitely been moments like that, like especially with Armageddon coming up. There are a few key moments where um, they kind of came about just from having conversations in the room or on a Zoom meeting with Marvel editors and creators, where it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that actually changes things in a good way for me. So yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like they've given you the ball and you get to run with it, but they're helping you make the plays, which is fantastic. It's
yeah,
great.
because it helps everyone. There's not really there aren't really. I mean, there are phases and waves of this kind of in the industry, but there's not a lot of big egos happening right now at Marvel, especially. Like everyone is good at kind of like having each other's back and kind of helping support each other, which is nice. You kind of hear stories other in the industry or, maybe too inside baseball of like, you know, fights between creators or editors and like these little fiefdoms that kind of happen. But for the most part, everyone just wants to make good comics and they want the Marvel universe to sell well to help everyone. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for, somebody to go, you can't use Iron Man for this because I said so. Like no one's gonna do that if it's a good story and it helps kind of boost the character and the other titles, right?
No, definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
We got an email in from Bob S. that says, for Chip, Gotham War was amazing. A really creative job. I am a fan of Chip. Any up and coming appearances in the Toronto area? I think I know the answer to that one.
Sadly, no.
Yeah.
I've
You just
I've
got the hell out of there. Yeah.
yeah. I packed my suitcase and hit the road. No, I mean if I'm in Toronto, it's just a visit at this point. For maybe for a week or two at a time. So I don't have any kind of signings lined up. Not to say I'm never going to sign in Toronto again, but it probably won't be for a while. There's also the thing of just like when you're a local creator for so long, like it kind of hits the point where it's like, oh yeah, just doing another signing in Toronto, who cares? And you get like 10 people come out, it's like whatever. Um, it's good to maybe, not necessarily make yourself constantly available. So yeah, in
There you
a
go.
we'll see what happens, but probably nothing in Toronto for another year or so.
Yeah, so just
Same.
so check in 2027, Bob. Chip might come back. It might take a little bit longer. Who knows?
Who
Who
knows?
knows?
Who knows?
When you just said 2027, I was like, wait a minute, why would you go so? And I was like, oh, that's next year.
Yeah, right.
I
We're in
like, I,
2026.
I
I
completely.
literally had the same thing just like an hour ago where yeah, I was looking at something for 2027. I'm like, what? And then I'm like, but we're 2025. Like, and I actually had to check my computer just to make sure what year I was in. I'm like, oh God, no, we're 2026. Oh Jesus.
Oh,
Honestly, Chip, it
Time.
doesn't surprise me. There's days where I actually still think it's 2019, and then and then I have to remind myself, oh no, we had the pandemic, we've had
Yeah.
further insanity that takes place. It's one
Yeah.
of those craziness things, which is an interesting thing about Cap being a man out of time, coming from a world that he understood to a world where he does not have a tether
No.
to our current reality, or at least the current Marvel reality. I'll put it that way: the
Yeah.
current Marvel reality. Um, so obviously that could be fun from a writing aspect and everything like that. And doing this series, for you, but I'm curious about for you what it was like to see your writing come to life through Valerio's art. Just bringing Cap and this and Doom and all the other characters to this universe alive based off of what you've written.
I mean, he's the best. Like, there's a reason like Marvel throws him on like giant event books all the time because he's like maybe the most capable comic artist working today. He's like the new Stuart Immonen, I think, in a lot of ways. Like the kind of guy
Yeah.
where you're like, oh yeah, no matter what it is, it's gonna be a extremely well told story with beautiful designs and great expressions. Like he checks kind of every box in terms of like a comic book superhero artist. Um, I was so happy he said yes to Cap because I also felt like maybe I was doing him a bit of a favor by taking him away from all those event books and giving him a book where there's like one main character so he could maybe just kind of relax a bit. He's got a couple of kids and it's tiring. Um, and yeah, it's like he's just a delight. And like every I'm getting some hell pages in from him, and like every page is like, oh my God, you really thought this through. Like this feels like a really lived in place. Um, yeah, he's the best. And I got to meet and hang out with him in Italy in the fall for a show, and I think we're just like mutual fans. Like I always worry with artists because I'm an artist myself, albeit a lesser one. But I tend to give a lot of notes on art. Uh, obviously more with kind of maybe younger artists, ones that are starting out. But even like guys like Valerio, I'll be like, oh, but if he did this and it'll flow better or whatever. And I'm always worried because I'm just like, well, he's been doing this a while. Like I hope he's not upset at me. And then when I finally met him in Italy, he's just like, it's like, no, no, I love it because you're talking my language. Like we're both just kind of making each other better. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. Like he's a guy who's constantly growing as an artist, which is the dream of an artist, really. You don't want to be stagnating.
no, totally. That
Yeah.
that is awesome. That's great
Yeah.
when you guys can come together like that. And yeah, no, it makes sense. If you can speak to an artist as an artist, that'll always be a better experience for them as well.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this month, a lot of stuff coming up. You've got Avengers Armageddon #1 coming out June 10th. And then on June 24th is the next issue of Captain America, issue number 12. But
Yep.
also, it is the final issue of a series that I have been holding off reading until the final issue comes out. And that is Whitehouse Robot
Ah,
Romance from
nice.
Distillery.
Yeah.
And like I have the copies, but I'm waiting for issue 3 to come in. But for people who haven't heard about this series, what is White House Robot Romance all about?
God, it's been so long since I've written it. I don't even know if
Yeah.
I can tell you. Um, it's set in, a future not too dissimilar to our present, um, where uh, there's a Secret Service robots protecting the President of the United States, but also like a personal chef robot um, preparing the meals. And so this is about the kind of the unlikely romance between those two robots, and when they fall for each other, things go terribly wrong, and then they're on the run. But the Secret Service robot has all of the nation's secrets in his head, so that becomes a bit of a problem. And it's super fun. Like there's jokes, and like Rachel Stott drew it, and she's delightful in drawing, even faceless robots with such character. Um, yeah, she's so good at like humor and emotion. And Tamara Bonvillain did the colors, and it's just like warm and lovely. And yeah, I love that distillery format. I know in some cases it's a bit of a hard sell just because it doesn't fit in your comic box.
Yeah. Hard to store, but still looks beautiful in that layout.
It,
Yeah.
it really, it really does. Like those when those comps come in, I'm delighted. I'm delighted with them. Like they're just really beautiful pieces of art. So yeah, so I know it's been a while since issue 2. Um, but my understanding is like people are sticking around for issue 3, which is nice based on the orders, because yeah, I mean I want everyone to see Rachel and Tamara's art. That's my big thing.
You know,
Fantastic.
looking at that, and hearing you talk about it as well, like I could feel the love of doing that project coming out of you.
Yeah,
Like, so like when you get a chance to do something like that away from like a cap or anything else, is that something that you really, when you have those opportunities and you can stretch that old comedy muscle back again? Like, I know there's comedy and cap and everything like that occasionally, but
yeah,
really to let it flow, like, some of your earlier work, is that a lot of fun and enjoyment to kind of release that energy?
yeah. I mean, comedy is a hard sell, generally speaking, to comic readers for a variety of reasons. But I think the biggest one is everyone's sense of humor is a little different. Like I think it's as a writer, I can make most people feel sad with a sad scene. Like those things all connect to people. To make everyone laugh at a joke scene, incredibly hard. Like we all have very different senses of humor, and it feels like as monoculture kind of drifts away and it becomes more fractured, it's even harder to find the things, you know, guys that are like 5 years younger than me will watch YouTube videos. I'm just like, what? How is that funny? And my parents are like watching stuff. I'm like, how is that funny? Like comedy's harder. And so I definitely take the opportunity when something like Distillery comes along, because they were like, we want you to do whatever you want for us, and we'll publish it. I'm like, great, okay. Yeah, okay, well, let's do something fun then. Um, but it is harder just as a comic creator to kind of find those avenues to just kind of do whatever you want. Like, I've got, if not a fully open door, the door is always ajar for me at Image to pitch stuff and to do things there. But I can't ask an artist to um, sacrifice financial future to do a book that's not going to sell an Image. So that makes it harder to do the things that are just purely uh, joyous for myself.
Right. No, I hear you. But on that humor element, back in April was the release of Mad About DC, where you got
Yeah,
to be the guest editor of
yeah.
the one shot. And with it, of course, tons of great creators. But then on top of that, you guys shot like a short film ad that was promoting it where you were dressed as the Flash running around. Did it bring you back to your days at the National Post dressing up as Spider-Man?
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, all the dumb stuff I used to do at the newspaper, or even dumb stuff I did at the beginning of Sex Criminals. Uh, yeah, yeah, that was a joy. But also, at one point when it's like 2 in the morning and I'm running down Young Street in the cold, dressed as the Flash, as all the drunks get out of Zanzibar,
Yeah.
uh, I did have the moment of like, oh, I might be too old to be doing this. I'm a 50-year-old man dressed as a Flash running down the street. Uh, yeah, yeah. It's the first time I've ever had that kind of thought that, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Um, but it was an incredible amount of fun and stressful to get it done in time. But we did it. We did it under budget, and it looked great, and I'm so happy with it.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
hilarious. You
Yeah.
had Chris Locke mugging a guy in it, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was amazing that you actually captured something that Chris Locke does on a general Saturday night. You put it on camera. It was
I
fantastic.
know, I know. That's who Chris Lock is. Chris is like one of my favorite comedians. He's got such a very distinct voice. For anyone that doesn't know, he's a Toronto comedian who pops up in movies and TV shows. I've loved him and his wife for years. Big fan, and we've become friends over the year. And I'm like, whenever I want to do something that involves a video, I just like, what could Chris do in this? Um, yeah, even when I was writing the dialogue for that, I'm like, this is the most Chris dialogue I could come up with. Yeah, he's the best. He's the best. Yeah, everyone came together. Like the guy who directed it, um, Sean McLeod. He's Kagan McLeod's brother.
Hmm.
Uh, one of my best friends and amazing comic artist, Kagan.
And Kagan
And
was in the short as well.
he was in the short. Yeah, he played one of the cops. But Sean is like a very accomplished music video and commercial director, and and yeah, so he was very pro, but also willing to go renegade in the streets of the city with me, and I really appreciated it. Yeah, so good. Yeah, Sean also did my I did my chip class videos a few years ago
Right.
over the pandemic. Um, yeah, he's great. I'm always trying to find new things for us to do together.
Well,
It's always amazes me to see how creators like such as yourself find ways to promote different projects and whatnot in not just like come on a show like ours or do a print interview or anything like that. Like it's doing like weird, little videos or whatever. Like just like these strange things and these events that you have pulled off over your career. It's
Yeah,
always it's a bit of a
yeah.
hallmark for you.
It's a tricky thing, promotion, especially nowadays because there are no outlets that kind of guarantee you hits and guarantee you sales. Like it used to be like early 2000s. Like I think one of my dumb little comics got mentioned on Boing Boing once, and like my sales went through the roof. Like it's just like there's nothing like that now, um, which is unfortunate. Like I enjoy doing interviews. Does it help? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not on social media, so I can't really do much there anymore. But that sounds like it's frankly a toilet of
Oh yeah,
anti-promotion at this point.
you made the right choice there.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm always trying to find different ways, and I love making videos. So it's just finding the time to do that, or like my Zdarsky Comic News, weird little monthly newsletter that I would send to comic shops. Um, did that for 18 months, and maybe it helped. I don't know. People bought it, people picked it up, but who knows? Who knows what works?
well, if
Yeah.
that's the case, I just want to say to all of our listeners out there, go to a comic shop on June 10th, pick up Avengers Armageddon
Yes.
#1, and then go on the 24th and pick up, go and go through the back issues, find the other Cap issues, pick up Cap 12 on the 24th, and track down the first 2 issues of Whitehouse Robot Romance and pick up
Yeah,
issue
come on,
3.
guys.
Do
Come
it
on,
all.
guys.
Do it
Get
all.
out there,
You
buy all my stuff. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Go to you basically just go to your local comic shop, wherever it may be. You can look it up and find it, and you'll find Chip stuff everywhere because
I mean,
he's
honestly,
everywhere.
even if you're not buying my stuff, it doesn't matter. Go to a comic shop,
Yeah, buy some
Yeah.
comics.
check some
Definitely.
stuff out, buy other people's comics. Like
Totally.
supporting
Yeah.
comic shops is important. I
Exactly.
100%.
feel like it's funny. I saw like there was like one of those bleeding cool stories about like the artist Mike Mayhew saying that artists shouldn't do comic cons because it's like a waste of time and you can make more money selling stuff online. And in a weird way, I agree with him, but not for the same reasons. I feel like a lot of us creators spend a lot of time doing comic conventions, but we don't do enough comic shops. And
Mm.
like in the major cities, like all the attention ends up being with the comic conventions. People save their money, they go to comic cons to meet creators and pay money for signatures or whatever. But like it's the comic shops that really need the support. And
Yeah.
I think we should all be doing kind of more store signings instead of convention appearances.
No, yeah,
It
totally.
seems contrary to making money because it is because you don't really make money at a comic store signing. But I think ultimately, I think it's better for everyone's careers and for the health of the industry.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely,
And
definitely.
definitely better interactions with fans. It's yeah, comic shop
Yeah,
signings are great.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they can also
Totally.
be terrible. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
Like a few years back, I did my cross Canada driving tour. I did like something like 13, 14 stores. I just got my driver's license, so I was like super excited just to go out there and do this. Um, and overall, it was a blast. And there were shops where you'd have like hundreds of people and everyone's excited. And then there'd be shops where like five people walk in over the 3 hours you're there and like no one knows who you are. And you're like, oh, okay. Sometimes a comic store sign can keep you humble.
well,
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Chip, I want to thank you once again for coming back
yeah,
on the
yeah.
program.
My pleasure.
I promise it's not going to be another 5.5 years before I
All
contact
right.
you again.
All right.
Because I want to keep track of you now that you moved out of Toronto. I
I know.
don't have a simple way to ask people, like, hey, what's happening with them?
No.
I have to make
I'm a,
friends with people in BC to find out what's happening with
I'm
you.
a mystery in the forest now. the
There
way
you
I've
go.
always wanted to be.
Well, go enjoy the forest, sir. Have
right.
yourself a great night.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.